Hi, everyone. We're at Balance Your Life podcast today, and we have Tracy Nosal, who is the renegade mentor. But Tracy does a lot of things spiritual.
Oh, yeah. We have a lot to talk about.
We absolutely do. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah.
So excited to join you ladies once again.
Yes.
So in this day and age of chaos, we all seem to be surfing a wave, right? Or soaring like an eagle. So I have been talking a lot lately about our higher self, our energy, to trust our intuition and our instincts, because we are getting lambasted every time we turn around with chaos. There's this thing needs my attention, the family, the kids, the what have you. But we still have to run our race and be focused in what we're doing. So I'm finding a lot of people white knuckling their way through success, which is not good, because then we're getting tighter and tighter and tighter.
White knuckling every day.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's such a waste of energy.
It really is.
Allow, which we all intend to do, but nobody ever does it.
Exactly.
So much easier.
Yeah.
Well, we do it sometimes.
That is it. That's the energy piece. And that's where most people are not aware of what energy are they bringing to the room.
Okay.
Are you tight? Are you tense? So if you're really paying attention to your energy and you breathe and relax, you have clarity coming in from your higher self. Which is, a lot of people are like, well, what's your higher self? It's really your superconscious. It's the other half of your soul that remains on the other side while you're still in human form. So that's our personal GPS, right? So now to go a little deeper with that, our thoughts have a frequency. This is proven. It's quantum physics, right? So now if the average person, day in, day out, we're thinking about a lot of things. We're going here, we're going there, we have this job, we multitask, we're women. It's like speeding up there. But we get those moments of time when we're going into a different project, and it's like, that negative self-talk comes in, like, can you do that? Are you good enough to do that? What's going on? That's a frequency.
It certainly is. But you said something that I want to just touch on before we get there. And that is, you said you have a navigation system, and I couldn't agree more, right? So it's an internal feeling.
It is.
That people aren't listening to, right? We don't listen to.
We try. Right. We argue. Right. The arguing is
first step, because that's really important what you just said. Can you just establish for people what that is and
personal GPS?
How do you know to listen to it?
That is that general feeling of when you're driving, I should go this way today instead of that way.
But then sometimes you don't.
When you don't listen to your intuition, there's going to be a price to pay. And it's usually a financial one or an accident. And I've lived through this.
Yes. Yes.
So when you get that inkling, like we all had that a few moments ago about parking, didn't we?
Yes. Oh, wow. That was a collective. I know. That was so weird. Right.
Well, so that's the piece, too. Let me incorporate in the collective energy. We see what's going on around the world, and everybody's stressed out. There's this too much pinging going on. That's a collective frequency. So when we can come back into our personal GPS, center our soul, center into our guidance, and I'll come back to that a little further, we are raising the collective consciousness.
Absolutely.
Which makes it better everywhere.
Yes, and that's so important, and it's so back and forth right now.
It is, and
really is.
I will go a little deeper into this in a minute, but there are two very strong polar energies at the moment, right? Like extreme negative and people trying to move into the positive, and that's the balance. And
right. And everybody keeps talking about how more and more souls are going to wake up or become enlightened, and like, I don't know, we hear this at the end of this year.
Oh, big time.
I feel great.
A lot of people scaling up into their enlightenment, which is great, but it takes something. A lot of people start that journey, and there's a whole new world out there, and then they don't know how to handle it.
So
the personal GPS is where that comes back to. It's being quiet enough within yourself for a moment to hear your own thoughts, to feel what you need to feel behind anxiety or resistance. And that's the human life that we live, is go, go, go. So things can make us anxious, or we're just not paying attention because we're so busy. This is why that self-care, being in nature or some meditation or just some quiet time at the end of the day, is you got to breathe and relax your body, because your physiological responses are like tight, 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 tight. Over time, you're going to get sick. And they see that all the time too. So literally, breathe. Clear out your mind at the end of the day and say, day well done. That's all I could do. I don't need to think about everything until tomorrow. So in that quiet, still time, you start to just be in your thoughts and your feeling state, and life is good, or like, okay, I'm a little tired. That's coming back into your power. It's resetting every day. It's your soul energy.
It is really important to reset. It is really important to let this body rest
Complete.
and allow ourselves to align. That's why I always kid and say, well, things aren't going right. I need to take a nap. I can't do that while I'm driving. Just a short nap puts me back into...
A good piece too is I always tell everybody, they're like, what's my purpose here? I tell everyone, your purpose is to remember who you are at a soul level. And then what you choose to do from there is how you're putting your energy out to the collective consciousness. Being kind to the cashier. Somebody might need assistance with whatever, some money or whatever. It's just putting that, you're positive, you're in your center, and that is also putting out vibration. This is the thing that people aren't paying attention to. We're walking, living energy. People can feel it. So it's when you see somebody that's negative or uptight and you're like, oof, I don't really want to go that close, right?
But that's where the compassion is needed the most.
Yes.
And that is the work here.
It
The
is.
work is to come back to remembering, back to our soul, as you said, and back to a state of compassion.
Yes.
And
We're all connected.
yeah, and
That's the
we're
thing that people forget and get annoyed at somebody or whatever. And
But you also have to protect your energy in that, because you can have compassion and we all see everybody's heart, their soul. At the truth of the matter, everybody's good, but they've chosen to come down to this planet to experience certain things that are not so nice. So you can't be just open willy-nilly like, oh, okay, it's great, I'll help you. You have to pay attention to people's red flags, because that is also our journey of when do we need to set boundaries.
absolutely. And you see a lot of that in the work that you do. So let's talk a little bit about that. And I have a question for you. On a daily basis, right? We're out there, and if we are trying to stay connected, we are seeing people and being compassionate. So how do you recommend people protect themselves and be able to stand in that place of light and love?
So when you're centered within yourself and you're confident, you exude that, okay? But if you tend to be a people pleaser, you're a little bit more step back, like, okay, the energy's different, which people will pick up on, and that's how they take advantage.
That's why very lovely people very often are pulled down.
Yes, completely.
Yeah.
So that's part of knowing yourself. I'm sorry, Deb.
no, that's fine. I was going to ask you,
It's part of knowing yourself. Is that you're good in your center, your soul, and you see that. Professional people, you see how they dress, they show up, how they walk. It's a feeling. But that's how you protect yourself. So if we're getting things coming into our field that we don't like, and I live this, like different living, then there's something within me that I'll go back and check myself. What subconscious block, what old energy, where do I trace it back to? That's still running a frequency that I'm not paying attention to. That's where people get tripped up, because they don't know.
Let's talk a little bit about your work, how you work with people, where it started, how it's evolved.
So being a transformational coach known as the Renegade Mentor for 15 years.
And the Renegade Mentor.
The Renegade.
By the way.
Somebody gave me that title. Yeah, one of my former coaches, a coach always keeps a coach, right? Because for me, I was born this way, being intuitive. Okay, so I was just different growing up because I always knew things. I was in
Where did
soul.
it start? Where did it for you?
In business or
No.
you being intuitive,
Oh God! As far back as I could remember, I was seeing apparitions in my bedroom. Right?
We get that a lot. We see stuff in your bedrooms.
So, and then I always want to know, did you have a family unit that was supportive? Did you have anyone to tell about this?
Yeah, did you hide it? What did you do?
No, we all knew. Gift
okay.
friends in my family, but I got from a Southern Baptist family.
Okay.
This is taboo.
Yeah.
Even though we were gifted, highly gifted. And I found that out over the years with my mother.
Right.
Because it ran in the lineage, but my brother also had it, which was interesting when he was getting ready to pass. His family, his wife and kids, they're like, your brother doesn't believe in that. I'm like, oh, crap. Because the second you shut that door, him and I are chit-chatting about mom coming through and this. And
and they never knew.
no, they never knew, but he was like, listen, mom came through. My mom had been passed, like, I don't know, 12 years prior at that time.
Okay.
But he's like, I can hear heaven's music. I could hear, like, it was the most beautiful time I had with him. Was just amazing, but because he was already starting to cross, but he was still here. So that was interesting.
When you guys were younger, did you know that you didn't know he had the ability, but you knew you had the ability?
He did.
And he knew it? And he didn't say, I have it too? Or
We just never,
you never talked about it? Oh, wow. Okay.
Did it cause you any challenges as you were growing up?
it caused me challenges throughout my entire life. Because I was always there, odd man out. I was different, and I was an old soul. I was like the mother. So, and still to this day, some people are like side-eyeing me because they can feel something.
Right.
Right.
But that's just, it was interesting for me growing up because I was very much feeling isolated and alone, but I was the youngest of three. So my brothers they were out of the house.
Right.
So I was really growing up with this on my own, so I had no idea.
And you didn't talk to your mom about it, even though she had the gift too?
Not really. There was there was a moment, I'm not sure if I really want to share this, but
No, you don't have to.
no, it's not. It shows the power of things, right?
Right.
In the family lineage. So we had to go down to Tennessee for a funeral. I think it was maybe her mom, grandmother. I don't remember. But I remember being young, and I remember my mom calling to have propane delivered to the house. It was in the middle of winter. Didn't want the pipes to freeze. And I remember her having this argument with the guy on the phone. He was so nasty with her. And she goes, you know what? I hope you get what you reaping what you sow. And I hope your plant blows up. Oh, what do you think happened?
Oh,
when we
boy.
were the state?
Oh, boy. Yeah.
So, that's what I always talk about. Like,
Power of thoughts and words.
power to us.
Yeah.
Right? Now, I manifested a free trip to the Dominican Republic when
Oh, yeah. Tell us about that. That's cool. That's a cool story.
So, utilizing emotion to manifest, right? So, anger, people are like, oh, anger can be dangerous. It can, unless you're utilizing it correctly. So, the remembering of my mother with that guy and the plant blew up, I was like, well, I don't want to do that. So somebody was just testing me, and I got angry, and I got off the phone, I stomped my feet, clapped my hands, I said, that's it, guys, I want sand and sun. And about, 20 minutes later, my friend called and said, it's all right, Paige, let's go. You have your passport.
That's awesome.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Oh, that's really quick.
So-
I love when things manifest that fast.
So,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
but you have an amped up frequency. You can't be like, I'd like to go. You can't be passive.
And you can't question how.
Dude, that's correct.
No, and that's it, right? And I think that's a big thing that people trip up on is the how. Well, you put this out. Well, I want this, but how could that ever happen?
And then you just negated it.
Right? You just negate. Right?
that's
You're not
your
allowing
presence.
it. Yes.
That's knowing your soul. Is knowing, and that's part of your higher self. When you are connected to your higher self in this human form, is where we can manifest things. Now, does it happen every day? Obviously not. We'd all be billionaires.
No, because of our ego and our doubt,
Yes.
it gets
Right.
wet.
The lack of trust. It all works together. Right.
So the bigger
we start questioning.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the desire is.
Yes.
The more we stand in the way of it and block it.
And
Sometimes not even realizing it. Right. It's like that unconscious thing.
That's the human piece. It's what's that subconscious block. Where did our belief system come in over a lifetime?
For a lifetime.
So even though we're adults and we're operating differently, we didn't heal a certain aspect or reprogram it, and that frequency is still running.
And that'll come in different lifetimes too.
Oh, big time on the lifetimes. My goodness.
Yeah.
Some things I look back, I'm like, where'd this come from? And then I'm going back and then back.
I mean, you've done a lot of personal work. I know that from, yes. And
This
then
lifetime for me is my cleanup. Because I'm not coming back to this planet.
Okay.
You say that now. You say that now. This, I said that
I've been
for a
told
long
that a few
time.
times.
I've been told that as well.
I was told that too, but this energy, we've waited years to come in, and I think that souls is very, very excited about where this planet is going to be in the near future.
Well, we are here for a pivotal moment in time, space in history at this particular go-round.
Right.
And it's a challenge for those of us that are awake. Some people, now everybody's different, right? Everybody has different gifts. So some people they're out there and talking about this and life is great. Apparently on the other side, I must have thought I was a badass because I chose to go through a lot of things.
Yeah, right.
And that does get exhausting. But this is also part of the work that I do because I walk through it first is like, oh, I need to come back to myself.
Right.
Oh, none of that matters. That's like another lifetime, even though it was this one.
There's a lot of hurdles to prevent, that we're all getting hit.
Oh, we are.
Right? So, to get there. But I believe in a very positive future. And I know everything looks bleak right now, but I believe in a very positive future for humanity.
That's why we're all awakening.
Yes.
Right. Is to shift that.
And people who do not have gifts their entire lives are also tuning in. And it's just a matter of aligning.
Really.
And knowing the God within.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when people start to connect with that, everyone can make that shift.
Absolutely.
And I think Tracy's really good with tools because when we've talked,
I wanted to get into how you started this in your work. How did you decide to start moving into this work? How did it just tell us how it happened and then what?
So I'm a photographer by trade, so I have a science degree. And it came full circle into the metaphysical realm when I started to take care of my dying mother. I took care of her for 3 years. And for me, I was like, how am I going to survive the stress of this? So I started to study Reiki. I am a Reiki Master and energy healing and all sorts of things for myself. Then people started coming to me for readings because they knew I was intuitive. And I was like, I have to schedule this. It's taking too much of my energy. So I started charging, thinking they'd go away, and I got busier.
What is that to be? Great story.
So then walking through what I went through on a personal soul level, still on the humanness of taking care of my mother, her and I were very combative, and that was a past life thing, and her jealousy, and I mean, there was a whole thing. There was a whole thing going on. So I did this for me. And I had a turning point when I walked in my house, walked past the mirror, and I stopped because I didn't recognize my own face. And it stopped me dead in my tracks.
Really?
And I will never forget this. I stopped in that moment and said, oh my God, I'm lost. Who else feels this way and how can I help them?
Wow.
And that is when I was like,
epiphany.
I have to, this is what I'm doing from now on.
So you just moved right into
I moved right into it, and it just lines right up.
Beautiful.
So now working with, everybody's got their niche, which is important because we need to hone in on who we need to help so we're not flighty and scattered all over the place. So I do work with high-end professional business women, executives, owners, entrepreneurs, because they're out there, they're living, they're like, just customers coming in or they have colleagues and they have their presence in life as a high figure person. They're white knuckling through. And I've seen a couple of them unfortunately crash and burn. So it's a rebuild physically, right?
Probably emotionally, everything, right?
Broke my leg and my wrist.
Well, right.
It was a hard reset for me.
Right.
But man, did I wake up in that because I was not listening to my guides.
So talk a little bit about that though. Like when things happen to you physically, I mean, I get this all the time.
Yeah.
I always get the weird things happening to me. Like stung by some big hornet recently and my hand blows up
And
I get, you're supposed to be slowing down. You're supposed to be paying attention.
So there is, my guides give me a visual of a seesaw, but we're standing on it and we're going this way and then we go this way and we're going back and forth. Okay. So what that represents is when we're not fully in alignment with our higher self and we go into the egoic minds and then the higher self kicks in. So we're going back and forth. So we sometimes miss the messages because we are too busy.
Yes.
Yeah, moving too fast.
And that deep down knowing of like, I shouldn't be doing this in business. I should clean this up. But we're busy. And then when we don't take care of it, they're like, huh, there you go. Now you're knocked out for a while. Took 18 months coming back from that.
that was big, right?
That was massive.
But so my question, I just wanted to clarify that though. So is it the soul sending you a message? Is that, or
it's your higher self, your
okay,
guides.
okay.
Who do you work with, right? Now, my guides, some people know their guides' names. I just don't question my guides because when I do my coaching at the end of it, I do a reading for my clients because it confirms what we just talked about, gives them a visual to lock in, to understand, and then they live into the change from week to week. So my guides, I don't question. It's like, it just comes through and the answers are there. They give me visuals. It's a sound. It's a knowing. So that's where a lot of people don't know how to tap in or understand that it's your guides talking or your higher self.
Or some of us just don't want to listen and like to argue.
And that's right. That's so funny because we're bad, right? Because we white knuckle through. We're like, I've got this.
Or you know, like I said, like with the beast. I mean, I've had a million things, right? You know, Dina also. You know, I mean, we could sit here and talk about how many times we fall down.
I fell down the stairs twice this year. Fractured my shoulder, dislocated my elbow, got back up, got over that. Still wasn't listening.
Right.
And my knee blew up and took me out for just stay still. So, yes.
Yeah, we had a lot of the stay still things, and then but you try, you know, in your mind, you go, "No, I'm okay. I'm really cool. I started doing a little less
because we're badass women, and that's what we do. I got this." And it's like
until you don't.
Exactly. That's one of my jokes with one of my clients. I'm like, "You don't got this right now," and
they're like,
okay,
yeah.
And that's my sign for like, slow down and listen to me. Because you're missing the sidebar of everything that I'm seeing that you're not.
But it is hard. Like we are going so fast, or we
even when you look for it.
Absolutely. That's what I was going to say. Like even when you're like aware, or one of our healers points something out. You know, I get that a lot, and I still go, "Oh, okay, all right, I'll do that. I'll slow down a little," and I think I am
right.
And then, but I guess I'm not really.
I wonder if you have any thoughts on this, because I've come to some crossroads in business, and then I just stay in trust, and I've manifested some crazy things, like just unbelievable pathways and people, and
because you're open to possibilities.
Yes, I'm in trust, but then I start to doubt, and now I've created all this stuff, and that is like just a monsoon of insanity, right? So I'm like, well,
that's just inner critic, and you need to tell her to shut up and flicker out of the field.
Yeah,
okay. Because that's the egoic mind coming back in.
Yeah,
and your ego is set up to keep you safe and protected.
Yeah.
So when that inner voice starts to come in, that self-sabotage, it's like, no, you don't, because it's throwing out a frequency, and it's like, no.
So how do you quiet that? How do you say
that's hardest?
That is really hard, right? You've got something in play.
It's not easy. It's not. I will be quite honest with you. Some days it is, some it's not, but we all go through our challenges. I've had mine recently as well, and I'm always telling everybody, breathe and relax your body.
Right.
I was walking around pretty safe, and I was like, I couldn't get myself calmed down, and I teach this. So it's a collective thing.
So you're teaching your clients to connect to their guides.
Yes, I am.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's funny because they're attorneys, they're C-suite people. So in the beginning, when I'm talking to them, I don't start with that. Of course, you're like, what are you talking about?
Right.
But I address their stress.
It's just like us, Deb. It was baby steps and introducing things. Yes.
Of course.
But when I address their stress, and then when I tap into something they're thinking, they start crying. They're like, how do you know it?
Yeah. That's
And
great.
then they let me in. And then I start to guide them into, you have more power just than your business power. You're a sovereign being here.
Right.
Connect
The
down to
universal
your soul.
power.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did you calm yourself down when you were pacing, or how can you give us like some
I literally
tools?
took my own advice and said, stop self-sabotaging. Because I had literally manifested in one day 12 grand and then another 12 grand the next day.
Wow.
But I was still panicked, right? Because that's the human side.
Absolutely.
Because I needed that for something that was on the table, had to be done right now. So in that stress, I was like, you know better. This is your time to up level. This is your time to fully connect to your higher self. Bring it to the heart space. Breathe and relax. But in that, I was like dinging and panicked and pacing. And I kept telling myself, just relax. This is a test. You're leveling up. So when I just finally listened to some meditations, I went outside in nature and I was like, I'm going to let all this go. I let it go.
Perfect.
And then, I don't know, about 20 minutes later, got a call. I've heard about you. I'm ready to sign in. Here's my card. Thank you.
Yay, that's great. Yeah.
So when I let go was letting go of my human consciousness to control everything. But when I let myself open up, my higher self came through. And they're like, we've got you. Just relax. So I had to move my own energy out of the way so it could all come to me. And that was one of the bigger ones I've had to practice letting go and relax and let it come and shut up the inner critic. Like, not today. Gotta go.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, so we're all on our own journeys, right?
Yeah.
And we have our family, and we affect a lot of people, and you affect a lot of people, but people are on their own journeys.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. This is why I personally work with a specific niche of people, because there's somebody for everybody to work with. So if you're at a different frequency and you're trying to help somebody that is just learning, they're going to weigh down your energy. Okay. So it's not that anybody's above anybody. Some are just more advanced than
Energetically. I'm saying, yeah, right. And how do you raise your vibration for people? I mean, I aside from you said being in nature, meditation,
the quickest thing is the higher you vibrate, the quicker you're going to manifest. Love and gratitude literally vibrate higher. So when you can feel it, I mean feel it, not like, I have gratitude today. No. You got to feel it
right
in your soul, in your heart. When you feel it, you're raising your vibration. But now if we're multitasking and we're busy day in, day out, it's not, let me be happy. Okay. It just doesn't work like that. Right? But when you have something planned, like a vacation, you're excited.
Yeah.
You feel the difference in that versus I'm going out to lunch tomorrow. Right? So when you can feel something that's exciting, but when you're in that moment on how to do that, I like to sing, not that I can, but I'll put on music and something to just like change it up. Or I walk outside in between clients. I walk outside. I watch the birds. I see a bear. I see this. And I'm like, it's beautiful. So I had trained myself on how to get out of that stress. Here's an important point. Every interaction you have with people, you're connecting an energetic cord. So if you do not clean up your auric field from time to time, guess what's happening? You're going to be off and you're going to be like, what is this? And it's not even yours.
Yeah.
So in between,
Or you're going to come into a room, right? I mean, I had a crazy morning, right? And so I actually did exactly what you're saying, but I text Deb without calling her and telling her, and I said, stuff is happening here, and I am just going to ground and put it out there, and it's going to be a wonderful day. And then I just sat there just trying to raise my vibration before I came here. Had I not done that, I could have walked into this room and had anxiety or a bad interaction with everyone here. Meanwhile, it's just a loving environment. Like we're all thrilled to see each other, and it's happy, and And so
But that's
not.
But it takes
we're going
practice, though, too. Like, you can't just whip this up. I think it's just taking us
into what
years.
we're all going into.
Yeah, and we
And
still,
it's big stuff.
yeah,
It's
and-
big stuff.
And you have to work at it all the time. Like,
Every day.
yeah, it's every day because it doesn't just stay.
I mean, and talk about, because I know you have like a lot of techniques, because you've taught me some over the years too. Of, like, how can you clear yourself? Or
Cutting the cords is first. So when I'm done with a client,
This in a while.
no, we have not.
I like to step outside in between each client because I need to disconnect. So I like to just swipe 1, 2, 3 to disconnect the energy. Now, when you're out in public and you've had an interaction, you're not going to be swinging your arm wildly because people are going to look at you like you're crazy, right? So I tell everybody you want to cross your heart because you want to disconnect the chakras. And you want to just like pretend like you see fuzz or something. 1, 2, 3. Done.
Okay.
Off. So you've disconnected. Then you breathe, you ground. It's all in your thoughts. And it comes back to that. Now because the pinging energy going on globally and we're all trying to be positive through this chaos,
Yeah.
is I will tell everybody to pull in the pillar of the Christ white lights through your body, illuminating yourself. And when it comes out the bottom of your feet, you want to go arm's length up and out in a golden bubble, reconnecting at the top of your head, connecting back to the pillar of lights. So you are connected to divine source energy, your higher self, your guides, and it's protecting your auric field. So it's your sacred space.
Right.
That gives you clarity going through your busy day of, okay, I can see that going on. There was a video I saw on TikTok of a guy, he's just sitting there eating in a rainstorm, but there's aliens walking behind him. His bottom's going off. He wasn't phased. He just kept eating, right? And that's how we get when we shield up. And we don't want to shield up to block energy because we do need the flow to manifest.
Right.
But we want to also block off any pinging energy that's a little negative and somebody's aggressive with you or they're projecting from their level of awareness. And that's
I know you've said that. I don't sure. Yeah. The thing, the Archangel Michael.
Archangel Michael's another one. I will ask him to set up my mirrors to reflect that energy back to which it came.
With love and light.
With love and
We're not sending it back in a mean way, but
no,
right.
not trying to be mean, but it's
Yeah.
like I can't monitor who's jealous, who's this. We're all on social media. We don't even know anyway. But some people are in their zone and they don't like us, and that's going to impact. So I just do the mirror thing. And that goes back to my God-given powers that I have, because that's the way it will go back. When I broke my leg, I had a friend you didn't tell me. You didn't tell me. Yeah, I know, because I was banged up going through multiple surgeries, and I called my house and let them know I'm going into emergency surgery.
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't tell you. Made it so much about him that 2 weeks later he broke the same leg.
Did he really?
Ooh, that's weird.
Don't make it about you. Don't be so nosy and involved. Like you can, but that's the piece. You can have a conversation without connecting, without drawing it. But when people make it about themselves, I'm like, no, I'm in my power. I don't owe you an explanation. And why are you doing that? Do you want to feel important? Or like, what is the? I don't get it, but I don't have time for that right now. So that's where I just bubble up.
Yeah, bubbling up is a good thing.
So let's talk a little bit about where you see humanity going.
So I feel like we're all surfing in a storm.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. It's good, but those of us that are hanging 10 on that surfboard on this craziness that we're in, we can see over the chaos. And my guides gave me that visual is because it's not smooth sailing right now. But if it is choppy waters, but if you're content within yourself and solid and confident with your higher self, you know this is what we signed up to do. So you're like, all right, this is what we're doing today. Let's go right at it. Right. Let's go sprinkle some stardust as somebody's being cranky. It's like
right, and we did sign up for this,
yes,
right? In advance. I mean, that is.
Real important about this.
Yes.
People can easily fall back into their ego and get completely overwhelmed, depressed. They don't know how to handle it. They don't want to do it anymore. I'm telling you now, this is time to hold on. Remember who you are. Come back up. This is vital because you're part of this race to raise the collective consciousness on the spiritual warfare that we're living through.
Right.
Because that's really what's going on. But but that's where the mind can play tricks back and forth. It's like, oh, life is good, but then we turn on the news and it's like, okay, right? So it is very drastic.
It is very drastic. The war is on a different plane.
It really is.
And
it's the spiritual warfare.
It's the spiritual warfare, and that's the big change in this energy that's going on right now.
Completely. And we are here to, those of us that are awakening, is to hold that light in our power. So we will get tested in our thoughts, in our moods. So stay strong and know we're a divine being.
Right.
So get out of the conscious mind of, do this. It's like, no, I'm here for a mission. I'm in my power. And that's where I call it our badass warrior women coming forward, right? Because we're just... They are, but I work a lot with the women.
Yes.
But yeah, so it's anybody that's in their zone of like, here we go. And that's amping up your frequency.
Okay.
And that up-leveled frequency is how we then manifest, because we're still in our human avatar. So connect your higher self at your heart space with your humanness. And that's how you start to get in alignment and balance the chaos, whether it's mental, emotional, or physical, and trust. You have to trust.
Yeah.
You have to
It
trust.
sounds simple, and you got
There are so many tools out there. People can come to you and work with you, and they can watch a podcast. But there's so many people on the planet right now bringing these messages forward, and the ears that it falls on are the ones who are meant to hear it, right? Because not every message and every tool works for everyone.
Right.
And so that's why there's so many different people coming in sharing these messages. But the bottom line truth you just spoke, and that is the same that rings through with everyone. It was very lovely the way you just said that and you gave that.
I am so happy to see so many people speaking about what I speak about.
right.
Yes. Because people will hear it differently.
Right.
That's right.
So to me, it's not competition. Like,
Right.
this is
It never has
necessary.
been, which is
And I am thrilled to hear people talking about the higher self, the collective consciousness, your vibration, your frequency, because we're all needed right now.
Yeah, and I think that so much of it is coming out, which is great. But multiple people
Very important.
need to do it all the time. Yes, absolutely. Thanks for sharing everything.
My pleasure.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Anything else before we go that you wanted to add?
Keep going. Keep going, right? So when
keep breathing.
just breathing for sure. Just swimming. I get like Nemo at all time. Yeah. So that is the point. Keep going. Hold your strength, because you will have a moment when you're tested. You have self-sabotage, or I didn't listen, and then things crash and burn, and then we got to rebuild. Breathe. Trust your soul. Trust. That's your GPS. That's that inkling. That's that inner knowing.
Gut feeling.
Yeah, that gut feeling will guide you.
Well, your
So
emotions
feel
also. I want to add
Yes.
that. Emotions also help tell you. They're part of that guidance system.
Yeah, just like, well, I'll bring it back to before we started recording.
Yes.
About parking. I parked and I go, I shouldn't be parked here because I don't want my
Tracy,
car
it's hysterical.
It's
I
so
walked
weird,
into the
right,
parking
'cause we're-
lot,
But
and
I parked anyway, right?
and then I came up here and I said, I think we should move our cars. And then Bianca, who works with us, said, yeah, I was thinking the same thing. And it was
So I was like, that's a collective.
And we have to say we always park there, and we never bring it up. And then all of us
today-
felt it, so then we all ran out.
Yeah, because we knew, because we know about it.
Because we know, yeah.
So it's
Well,
like
and
if
if
you're
we
going to
ignored
ignore
that,
that, it's going to cost us a tow fee.
Yeah.
A time and obligation.
Right.
So big for us.
Thank God we listened today.
well, let's move on yet. So that's where I'm going right now.
Was that
But I know.
there was a level of unease that took us all a minute to pinpoint what it was, right?
Yes.
So that's real important, because it's not like here they're calling you up like, hey, you need to pay attention. It's going to be an inkling. It's going to be a thought. It's going to be like, well, something feels off until we pinpoint what it is. So the moments come in a flash, because when I parked, I literally looked at the do not park here. Here's a tow fee sign.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, I'll only be a few minutes. But then I'm like, you were a few minutes, now go move it. Okay.
And that is so
pay
I love
attention
that
to the
because it
flash
is
of the
like a
thought.
flash.
It's a
I
flash.
love that. I was going to say, like,
Yeah, it's a flash.
And sometimes I feel like, even just to go a little further, when those flashes come, right?
Yeah.
Like, was that a message?
Yeah. And
It's just something that you thought. Yes. Right. Okay.
And the more you pay attention, the more those messages
Yes.
will be evident.
It becomes second nature
Yes.
when you allow and trust what you hear. You trust your guide team. You trust your higher self. It's just second nature. And that's how I operate. And that's why I've always been different.
Right.
Because people are like, well, how do you know? I was like, don't question me. Trust me.
Yes.
Because
Right.
I
'Cause you
just
trust
get off
yourself.
my back, but if you want to test me, you're going to find out.
I love it.
I tried to
great.
love it. Yes,
That's the renegade master. All right.
We love having you.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. It was great to see you.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's always a lot of fun.
Yes. I'll see you next time.